Wu Wei is a Chinese word in Taoism that's generally translated as no mind or empty mind. I used to think this idea of having no mind or nobody was something that I would never want, and I even thought of it as kind of scary. The only way to really achieve that is with a bullet in the head. I equated it with unconsciousness or being brain dead. But then I remembered that at one time I also felt exactly the same way about booze, carbs, sugar, and the general debauched state of my lifestyle. These were all things that I would never want to live without, activities I would never want to give up. I clung to them as though they were giving me life. And yet, here I am now, practically rejoicing that I gave up all of those things. Never have wanted or regretted any of it. And indeed, mystified and bedazzled with the realization that I have gained far more from giving things up than I ever gained from acquiring new things. So that itself is something worth pondering. I gained more from giving things up than I ever got from acquiring new things. So one of the problems with any kind of magical or ceremonial practice is that when it comes down to it, you're simply creating new associations and gaining new things, or else creating new associations about how much you are desiring new things. Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching calls this the 10,000 things. The problem is that associations and things only lead to more associations and more things, none of which are in themselves permanent, substantial, or lasting. You could, and you do, spend a lifetime just cycling through associations. In fact, microcosmically, this is precisely what the mind does all day long. It cycles through associations. It's like an attic up there, and all the old associations, beliefs, biases that have been picked up or dreamed up over the course of a life get mixed in with all the incoming sensory data. That's why we can not be objective, why we cannot be impartial. Everything's all mixed in together. It really is just like an old attic. All this stuff is mixed on there. You see what's laying on the surface on top. You don't know what kind of junk is underneath there. And at the meantime, you're also trying to look at what is really going on in the world, what's happening in the other rooms, what's happening outside of your house. So when I realized that my organized religion of choice was a primary source for accumulating more ego-pumping associations, I knew it would have to go as well. Just like the liquor and the sugar and the debauchery. The experiences that I wrote about in my book, Second Awakening, that was really the end of organized religion for me. When I crossed over this threshold, all those things were over. Leaving behind organized religion was like leaving behind liquor, carbs, and debauchery. It was just another thing that was feeding a part of me that was just made up. I hadn't been able to see it before because of all the clutter of associations, obsessions, and the obligations to other people, the considerations of other people that keep you tied in, locked in, suspended. Once I saw it, I could not unsee it. You see, this idea of Wu Wei isn't so much directed at the mind as it is at the ego. We can't really rid ourselves of the ego anyhow. The carnal body needs the ego in order to interact with the universe. It has a function, it has a job to do, but because our real I, our higher self, is been asleep at the wheel for a long time due to indoctrination, education, some laziness, the fallen state of all of humanity stayed asleep, a hypnotic trance that we're all under. That ego, with all of its delusions, has risen to a seat of power. It's risen to the driver's seat in our ship. So, Wu Wei can be a reminder. Not this, not that. That's another translation of it. To remember, as the associations are cycling through the mind, you remember to say to yourself, not this, not that. It's not the thing. It's just the 10,000 things doing its thing. And whatever's before me, whatever it isn't me. I'm not dependent on it. It's simply the result of a universe that's always moving and always transforming, and myself existing within it, finding myself within it. Whatever it is, it's not me. It's just a moment that I am passing through.